Hello there, I'm Dark Shades, broadcasting out of the east of England, around the world, and into your homes and onto your phones. I thought I would do this video because there's so many women who feel as though there's no good men out there, or they don't know how to find a good man, or they feel as though they're always picking up losers and they don't know why they keep on picking up the same type of man. So I thought I would give you a few little tips. Not that I'm an expert, but I thought I'd try and help you out anyway. So, how do you find somebody who wants the best for you? That's the key ingredient. You want to find somebody who wants the best for you. Now, everybody who's in a relationship, that should be the criteria. It shouldn't be based on selflessness or selfishness. There should be a nice, fine balance in the middle. So, how do you know from the get-go how to find out whether or not a man, and I think you can apply this to women as well, but whether or not a man is the right man for you, whether or not he's a user, whether or not he's trying to play you, that kind of stuff. You have to first ask yourself, have you been responsible in past relationships? Are you a rescuer? Are you a fixer? Are you an enabler? You have to ask yourself those questions. Are you controlling? What part have you played in relationships that hasn't worked in the past? So once you recognize your own behavior, then you'll be able to make sure that you don't transfer that behavior into new relationships. A lot of women in particular, because they've been hurt by past relationships, they enter new relationships through the lens of past relationships, and they call that baggage. Men do the same. Men who have been hurt by women, they seem to feel it much more. They become more skeptical, more wary, more critical. And they have their baggage as well that they carry into the relationship. So you need to be sure that you're in a position to give love and receive love. So once you've got all of that out of the way, you know that you've got over your past hurts, you're no longer resentful for the guy that messed you around or the woman that abandoned you, and you're starting on a clean slate, then you can start picking out the things that are not quite right for you and which you know from the get-go mean that the relationship could turn out into an unhealthy one. And what we want is a healthy relationship. Now, during COVID, it's even more important that your antennas are out, that you're more alert without being overly suspicious, but just more alert to people's behavior, what they're saying, consistency in what they're saying, whether or not things measure up. Can you see from what this person is saying whether or not they could be a potential long-lasting partner in your life? So signs to look out for. Complacency. They've got no drive to do anything better, whether it's men or women. But for ease, for me, I'm being selfish, but for me, I'm going to focus on women who are looking for a man. And we're talking about new men. I'm not talking about people in long relationships. Okay, I guess you might be able to apply it to it in some of the cases, but this is purely for women who are alone, worried about getting into a new relationship, think all men are BBs, and they just holding themselves back. Okay, so complacency is the first red flag. They've got no drive to do better. They've had an unlucky past. Everything bad has happened to them, from the girlfriends that they've had, from the landlord, from the employers. The employers had a go at them. The landlord wants to get rid of them. The last woman didn't understand them. Their friends, they don't have any friends because all their friends have been taking the pee. Avoid people with those kind of histories, because it can happen in one area, but when it happens in all areas, you have to start looking at yourself and saying, what am I doing? How is my behavior contributing to all of these reactions by all these different people. So anyone who's had an unlucky past, an unhappy past, and everything that's happened to them is bad and nothing happened, nothing has been great until you came along. Oh, you're the best thing that happened to me in the past, this, in the past, that. Be wary, because you soon will be one of his bad memories. Because the problem is with him. Okay, they always tend to be in a crisis. There's always something going wrong with them. The car's broken down. They just got a parking ticket. They just got caught speeding. The police stopped them for something. They didn't have enough money when they went to the shopping till. They lost their debit card. They lost their credit card. You know, the banks messed up their money. Always something. Always a crisis. Red flag. Bringing baggage from previous relationships. Well, I did touch on that, but you have some people who have unhealed hurt. They haven't got over the past relationship. They're still hurting, and that makes them skeptical. It makes them resentful. It makes them wary. Let me see. Look at a new person. Oh yeah, they look at new persons or new potentials through the lens of past relationships, but I did mention that. Okay, learning from lessons of the past for oneself, but not applying those lessons to the other person. So yeah, you can realize that you've been in a tricky situation. Somebody rejected you, somebody abused you, somebody took the pee out of you, somebody used you, whatever it is. You can learn from that. You can say, how did I contribute to that behavior? And once you understand your role in it, because sometimes we enable this behavior, then you can enter a new relationship. You don't have to tell your new partner how the old person abused you, used you, or whatever. You keep that for yourself and you learn from that, so that you go into a new relationship with your eyes wide open, and you make sure that you're looking for the signs that were similar to the other person, so you don't fall into the same trap. But there's nothing worse when you enter into a new relationship and your new partner is talking about everything that went wrong with the old relationship and what this person did and what that person did and whatever it is. You don't want to know. This is a fresh start. Okay, so do they always ask for help, your time, your resources? That is another red flag. You get somebody and you tell them how busy they are, and they're always saying, oh, I need you to do this for me. I need to come over and have you do this. Or, you know, they want something from you. They, you know, can you give me, I don't know, have you got any soap pad? Whatever it is, they're always asking. They always want to take what you have. They see you have a little bit extra, so they want to take it. They want to use it. You know, they don't know why you have got a little bit extra, but they want to just use it up. You have to be careful. I mean, yes, that's got to the stage where you've actually met them up until that point. But up until that point, you will be able to determine, hopefully by the end of this video, what signs to look for. So when you do finally get them in your house, they're not out to use you out and use up your stuff because they think you've got too much. So you don't have to, you have no business fixing someone else's woes when they've just come into your life. And that's another thing. When people enter into your life, it's different if you've been in a long-term relationship and things start going wrong. Of course, you support each other. But it's not your business to take on their problems and their issues when you've just met someone. You just met somebody and they're telling you about, oh, I just lost my job last week. And, oh, I ain't got no money to pay my rent. You know, my car, I ain't got no money for petrol. Somebody flattened my wheel. I need a new wheel. You don't need that. You don't need that. Okay. So if you feel like you're always giving and it's not being reciprocated, and that can even be in communication. Are you the one doing all the talking? Are they quiet? Are they trying to siphon you out when they're quiet? You know, is there even give and take? You know, that's what you have to, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for reciprocation. Not tit for tat, but reciprocation. So, also, it's okay for somebody to have their problems and be low, on the down low, and they're coming across hard times. But you don't cut them off just because they are on hard times. What I'm making the distinction with is when a man falls on hard times, there's two ways he's going to approach that hard times, and that is what you need to find out. How is he approaching hard times? Is he saying, okay, I lost my job? And when you ask him, oh, so what are you doing about it? Oh, well, black men don't get any jobs. There's no jobs for black men these days. Oh, nobody wants to interview me. And, I ain't even got the fare to get to work, even if I do have a job. Or is he saying, yeah, I lost my job, but, I've been looking and looking and looking, and I've just come across this job. It's not really what I want, but I'm going to take it anyway. Something is better than nothing. You know what I mean? It's about how resilient are they? How do they cope with hard times? Do they run from it? Do they look for somebody else to rescue them out of hard times? Or are they resilient? Are they doing what they can themselves to sort themselves out? They're not even burdening you with the hard times. They say, oh, I'm managing really fine. When you ask them how did you cope when you lost your job or when your car broke down? Oh, I managed. When my car broke down, one might say, oh, I borrowed my friend's car. I asked my mum for some money to get me a car. Or, something like that. I got someone to co-sign for a car for me. As opposed to somebody who says, look, yeah, they took away my car or they stole my car. Well, not stolen because it would be insured, hopefully. But, somebody, your car got taken or something happened to your car. And you can either respond by saying, yeah, but fortunately I had some money put down. I was able to get a car, at least a runaround so I can get to work. But, it's not as nice as the car I had before. That tells you that guy knows how to look after himself when things go wrong, as opposed to another person when he's falling down on hard times, depends on someone else. And that is where the distinction lies. Not necessarily just because somebody is fallen on hard times, you discard them. It's how they're coping during those hard times and who they expect to rely on during those hard times. Do they expect you to bail them out? Or have they managed themselves sufficiently that they can actually manage by themselves? So yeah, it's good. If somebody's giving you earache about all the problems, ask them how they're coping with them, what they're doing, how they're solving those problems. It'll tell you a lot about the person, even before you've physically met them. These are the kind of things you need to find out. Why did your last relationship break up? Find out whether it's all he blames the woman or whether he takes some responsibility himself. After speaking to him for a while, does he have what it takes to be the man you need, especially in tough times? Now, we're talking about, if we're talking about COVID, we have to kind of think, are you going to meet these men online? Is it somebody who's in your vicinity? Is it somebody you're meeting at the shop or the store? This is how you're gauging someone. So, before before it starts getting intimate or you start getting too close. Okay, he may be down on his luck, but is he generous with what he has, his time, his effort, his resilience? Or does he surround himself with people who can help him? That's what I mean. You can have people who are down on their luck, but they're so helpful with what they have. Is there anything I can do for you? I haven't got a job or anything, but, I'm more than willing to do A, B, C, D, and E. And they actually do it. Those kind of people, you don't mind. But when they're down on their luck and they become victims and they feel as though the world owes them a favour, that's a totally different story. So, is he able to solve his own problems? That's what I've just said. That's the examples I've just given. Does he lack motivation, ambition? I mean, motivation, ambition is such a biggie. It really is, because it's the break between carrying somebody and and being on par with somebody. It really is. Somebody who lacks ambition and they're just satisfied with their lot. It's not good. You get people, they don't want to do anything. They don't have any hobbies, no interest. You have men, and okay, I don't even mind if they're football fanatics. At least they have a bloody interest. But when you have people who have no interest at all, no hobbies, and you become their interest, there is nothing worse. So, what plans does he have for the future? And what is he doing to achieve those plans? Some might say, oh, I really want to get a house in the Caribbean, or I want to get a house in Turkey, or I want to get a bigger flat, or I want to move out of this rental. Oh, so what are you doing about that? This is what you would ask. How are you going about that? Oh, well, I put £2 on the lottery every week, or I put £10 on the lottery every week. That's his plans on how he achieves his goals. Not a good sign, because he's still relying on someone else to bail him out, even if it's the lottery. As opposed to, I'm researching some things, I'm studying, I'm saving some money. Then you know that, okay, he's got a consistent plan in place. So is he fully functional and independent of help? You need to ask about their health issues. Have they got health issues? A lot of them, they don't tell you what health issues they are until you're in the relationship. Not that you're going to dismiss them because of their health issues, because it depends on how they manage their health issues. But it's unfair when people have health issues and they wait until they get in the relationship and then they start falling apart. But they had these issues way before. That's not fair. I'm not quite sure. Well, you can just out and out ask them, are you diabetic? Are you asthmatic? Have you been to the hospital recently? How often do you visit your doctor? Are you on prescriptions? What kind of prescriptions do you take? What kind of medication are you on? Have you ever been depressed? Are you on, how often do you drink? Are you a smoker? You can find a lot just through general, and I'm not talking about listing them out. I'm talking about how you find out about the person you are attracted to, and whether or not what you see is what you're going to get. So, if he's over his 40s, is he still living at home with his mum? A lot of men, they say, oh, I'm at home, I'm looking after my mum, she's elderly. So really, it sounds like quite a compassionate person, doesn't it? Oh, he's really caring. But then, when you're in the relationship and they're willing to spend a week or two down your house, what does that tell you about the mum? Who's looking after the mum now? So you have to look for consistencies. He's just dossing at his mum and using her as an excuse. Okay, he might go down to the shop and get her something when she asks. But is he paying rent? Is he paying electricity bill? Is he contributing to the house? Is he cleaning up the house? Is he washing up the plates? Or is he just going there, his mum cooking and washing his clothes for him, and he's looking for a woman on the outside to rescue him? You have to be very careful. Some things, they sound really good on paper. Oh, he's looking after his mum. Oh, he's so nice. He must have a good relationship with his mum. That's the type of man I want. I want a man who's got a good relationship with his mum. Because if he's got a good relationship with his mum, he's going to have a good relationship with me. Not necessarily the case, darling. Because sometimes that's what they've been doing. Just using their mum and all. Taking advantage of their mother. And taking advantage of all the women in the past. And then you're the next one in line. Oh, if I laugh, I finish. Anyway, so If he says he's living at home, ask what's wrong with his mother. Is his mother disabled? You know, how old is she? She got a terminal illness. What does he actually do for his mum? You know, is he the sole carer? Because you don't want to wait down the line when you're telling him, I thought you were looking after your mum. And then he says, oh yeah, well, I do it between me and my 6 brothers. We all have turns. That's why I can stay with you for 2 weeks. Find up front. Because these guys here dread it out. Find out up front. How many is he the sole? Are you the only one? It does sound premeditated, doesn't it? But you've got to. Are you the only one looking after your mum? Oh wow! So you clock that. Later on, when he's telling you about, you know, he'd love to spend a week with you, or can you two go away on holiday? Who's looking after your mum now? Okay, so we're looking for consistency with what they say and their actions. Look for, because sometimes they're looking for a springboard into the next woman's yard. So men, and it's sad to say, this is mostly black Brits. You know, not all black Brits, but majority black Brits. So men who have their place but quickly want to move into yours. And they don't, what is their motive behind that? Is it something that they're discussing with you? Are they saying, look, you know, I really want to move in with you. You've got my house, you know, I want to rent it out, but the money I rent out, you know, that means I can give you even more money. If you agree on how much they're going to give you if they move in, if they're renting out their house, how is that money going to be split? It's not kind of a situation where he wants to move in with you, rent out his house, but he benefits from the rent from his house, but he's in your house and you're not really benefiting. So there has to be a way where you both benefit, and it's a mutual and it's a supportive relationship. The two of you are working together for a common goal. And what else? You mustn't let anyone guilt you into providing a service. Have you ever been in these relationships where they kind of guilt you? They don't actually say, I want you to get me this. They'll say, oh, I really want this, you know. Or, you know, I went down the road and I saw this really nice jacket. I really, really like it. I'd really love that jacket. You know, something like that. Oh, I saw these trainers. They were, what? They were about 150 quid. They were wicked. Oh, I really loved them. I did that to one bloke once. You know, he was there telling me, oh, look at that pair of shoes. It's really nice. I've always wanted them. I said, so why don't we go in and get them now then? Oh, no, it's not my priority. I'm like, yeah, brought ya. It has to be my priority though. I don't think so. Anyway, those are the kind of things you look at. People try and guilt you or drop hints about what they want. What else? And these are all signs, you know, you haven't met them yet, but, you know, you can hear it in conversations. And even after you've met them, you know, first few conversations, they'll soon let the cat out of the bag because they're pushing boundaries, aren't they? And I'm not even saying that you mustn't deal with them, but what you must do is nip it in the bud so they know that you're not stupid. They know that you're not a person they can take advantage of. That's what I'm saying. Not necessarily saying you've got to kick them to the curb, because someone along the line has got to stop enabling them, because the previous women, they've been getting away with it. So you don't have to be that woman. You can actually be the one that stops that behavior in its tracks. Okay, so let me see what else. Reciprocal, or do they take? Always asking. Yeah, it needs to be, you know, 2 ways. Not necessarily in the same way, but different ways. I forgot to turn that off. What else? What else have we got? Do they guilt you into volunteering? I've already spoken about that. Do they do a little thing? That's another thing. You'll get them saying, oh, you know what? I want to take you out for a nice meal. and they take you out for a nice meal, or even it maybe whatever they do could be take you out for a nice meal, or maybe they cut your hedge, or maybe they do something that makes you think, oh, they're really, really nice, they're really thoughtful, how generous. But it's the one thing them do for the whole of the relationship. They did that to rope you in. And you spend the rest of the relationship making up for the one that could ting them door. You know, that can't work. So, don't bother feel too grateful for the one that could ting. See how consistent it is, you know. Even if they don't take you out for dinner, are they saying, you know, I'll cook dinner for you today, darling. You sit down, you put up your feet. Or, you're cooking, let me wash up. Or, you know, I know you're busy, I know you haven't had time to do this, I'll do it for you. They don't even say anything, they just do it. You know, but you get some people, either they say it and shout it from the houses and make it sound like a big deal, or they don't do anything. There's nothing nicer when you see a man use his own initiative to do something. A man who's proactive. A lot of these men, they sit back and they wait for the woman to do things. And then it's under the guise of, oh, I'm not good with computers. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. It's learned incompetence. That's what they call it. Learned incompetence. Look it up. Because what a lot of men do, they let women do stuff for them under the guise that they can't do it themselves. How did they get on before they met you? They probably got somebody else to do it. And some of them, they'll say, oh, you know, you book the hotel, you book the holiday, I'll pay you after. No, put the money in my account now, and then I'll book the holiday. Because I can understand some people may not be savvy with computer stuff, but if you're not trying to use your woman or take advantage or take liberty, as they say, you would be saying, look, I really ain't great online. I'm putting this money into your account for our holiday, and so you can just do it when you're ready. That's a sign of somebody who has your interests at heart, and once you see that in your account, you know his mouth is as good as his actions. You know, he's not trying to tell you to put it in and convince you that he's going to pay you back. And then once you put it in, oh, can I pay you £5 a month? Can I pay? I ain't got it all now. Oh, I ain't got it at all. Why? Anyway, you have to ask yourself, yes, I've done all of that. Like I said in the beginning, you have to make sure that you're not rescuing them and fixing, because a lot of women, they are complicit in this behaviour. They're doing stuff that, because they feel as though they need to earn the man's love, or they want the man or whatever. They feel as though they've got to be doing everything, proving to the man that they love them, and then they think, oh, well, when the man knows I love them, then the man is going to start giving back. It don't work like that. A man don't like a soft touch. He doesn't like somebody he can use. So you have to stop rescuing them and running out, and every time they say, oh, I saw this wicked jumper, and they tell you the shop, and they tell you exactly where the shop is. So this wicked jumper, I'm just going to say gabichi for want of a better word, because I used to love the gabichis. So the wicked gabichi, $79.99. You know that shop next to the town hall? That shop, it's called something. I think it's called Labels. Yeah, it was $79.99. Wicked. And it's in the front window. It's right next to that. It's right next to, what do you call those dummies? That's got this on. I'm telling you everything about where it is. And then you go and go get the jumper. Oh, babes, you know that jumper you said you like? I got it for you, Yeah, I'm idiot. No, but the thing is that the woman really genuinely believes she's doing what is good for the man. She doesn't know she's being manipulated. She really doesn't. She thinks she's providing a service for her man. And she's not clocking that in the end, it's not until a long, long time after she's thinking, hold on a minute. Yeah, I keep going out and buying stuff. He keeps dropping hints. I'll keep going out and buying stuff. He keeps telling me he wants this done. But he's not doing anything for me. It kind of suddenly dawns on them, maybe a year in, maybe not that long, probably doesn't take that long. It usually takes you about 6 months to a year to find out what a person is like. I know what a person's like within 3 months. 6 months, definitely know what they're like. But the point of the matter is that sometimes it takes someone a year before the penny drops. And they're like, how come I'm always doing this? How come he's not doing nothing? So you have to be aware. And, don't blame the man. Don't get resentful with him. You need to be on the ball. Once you reach a certain age, you're supposed to be able to clock certain behaviours and not fall into it unless you're desperate or insecure. Those are the only two reasons why a woman will get caught up in situations like this. Sorry to say that. Okay, so another mistake that women make is that they get attracted to the physical. He's hot, he's stimulating, he looks sexy, he's got tattoos, he's got good muscles, him dressed nice, look upon him shoes. I used to be somebody, I used to always look at a man's shoes. Remember I found a pair of shoes that look good. Then I'd look up at the face. But as long as the shoes were saying something, I knew he had style. But that is not enough. Attracting to the physical, or not even attracting to the financial or the financial potential. Some people, they look for men with a good job, well educated, status. They look at what they own, what they have achieved. You might think, oh, that's a good sign for a relationship. It's not enough. Or they're attracted to their mental ability, how they think, how they articulate, how they speak, and their mind. You see, the top three things, the physical, the financial, and the mind, they all have to do with chemistry. And you'll find that you can, even colleagues at work have those traits. You can be attracted to people at work who are good looking, that are articulate, that are well educated. But the key two things you want in order to know whether or not you're compatible for a long-term relationship is, what are the two things? Oh, the emotional intelligence, the emotional. You need to be attracted to whether or not they're compassionate, whether or not they're supportive, whether or not they're tender and caring, considerate. And also their spiritual aspect. What are their values like? What do they live by? Do they have integrity? Are they credible? So if they have the spiritual and emotional on top of the physical, the financial, and the mental ability, then you've got a winner. But if you have those first three, the chemistry, which is transferable to anyone, and you don't have these last two, it's not going to be a lasting relationship. So when you're kind of looking for that good man, you're looking for someone who has all five, or at least the bottom two, the spiritual and the emotional intelligence. I prefer personally somebody who's kind, caring, supportive, regardless of how they look. Seriously, I'm not lying. I remember, I always give you a story about my mum. My mum always used to say, it's not every dog you bring in the house. It's not every, what did she used to say? It's not every dog you bring in the house that looks good or something. Anyway, I forget what she meant. Well, what she meant is that not because somebody is kind and caring, you need to be with them. Because that used to be my trigger. If somebody was kind, caring, supportive, That's all I was interested in. They could be whatever. I don't like to say ugly, but they could be unattractive in other, physically unattractive. And they might not even have nothing, no two pennies to rub together. But as long as they were kind and sweet and all of that, that was what attracted me to them. But in reality, it's not enough to be in reality. Like I said, well, I've already said it anyway. So what you're looking for is all of them: physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual. That's what you're looking for. That's what those are the kind of traits you're trying to dig out and find out whether or not this man that you've met has. Protect yourself from those who are overly compassionate, those who will try to save someone from drowning when they can't swim, instead of causing a lifeguard. Sometimes people come to you with problems or issues. There's nothing wrong with that, but you don't have to try and fix it. You can signpost them to somebody who can help them out. Oh, I ain't got no money. Have you signed on to Universal Credit? I ain't got no food. They've got a food bank down the road. I need it's about, even if you're still innate, you're still helping them by signposting them to, of course it can't just be any and anybody. You have to make sure that the source that you're giving is the correct source, but it's about leading them in the direction. It's like when you have people begging in the street, you can be compassionate. Oh, somebody's the other day, there was one who said, "Have you got a pound, lady?" And I looked at him and I said, he had a fag in his hand. I said, "No, I ain't." But there was another one. It was a black guy, happened to be. He said, "Have you got 20p?" And I'm like, oh, 20p. That got me. Because I thought, 20p? What can you do with bloody 20p? And I gave him a pound. No question. But my point is, that could be psychological too. But to me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether he's using psychology on me. The fact of the matter, and then, somebody says, "I'm really hungry," and you give them, sometimes, there used to be this guy that used to sit outside a bread shop. And he used to say, "I'm really hungry, man. Have you got 20p? Have you got a pound?" And I'd go into Greg's or whatever, and I'd get them a pasty. And he'd look on me like I'd committed the biggest crime. I'm not hungry. That pees me off. That pees me off. And I remember there used to be this dread in the town centre. And I mistook his mental illness for being homeless and hungry. And I went home and I made, because he was there every day, I went home and I made some Irish moss. And I don't know if I made chicken, but because I wasn't sure whether or not he was a vegetarian. But I know I made Irish moss. And I know I put something in a bag for him to eat. And the next day I felt so happy going into the town, and I handed him the bag with the Irish moss in it. The good plastic coppiner with lid and a container. Good things I give him. And he went mad, throw it up in the air, screaming. I thought, bloody hell, man. But I don't know what he wanted. I don't know what he expected. Maybe he wanted drugs. Maybe he wanted money. I don't know. But I thought to myself, Myrna, don't assume. Don't jump to those conclusions. Don't assume you know what someone needs. Unless somebody asks you. And when they ask you, what are they asking you from? Are they asking you from a place of need? Or are they asking you from a place that they want to use you? Or are they asking you from a genuine place that, that they're offering something in return? You have to know where people are coming from. And where's people's hearts? Are they genuine people? You have so many people out there who just want to get one over on someone because of their past pains and their past mistakes. They resent you for it. So you have to be careful when you're looking for a man in particular. You need to pick up on these little things. Don't rationalize it. Don't make excuses for them. I wrote down this: planting trees under whose shade you do not plan to sit. That's Bhagavad Gita. It's talking about selflessness. And yes, you have some people, some women who are totally selfless. And they'll do without to give to someone else. And that's the nurturing aspect of a woman. But it's not good for the woman. They have to look after themselves first. Don't give to someone when it's going to disadvantage you. And if you're meeting someone and they start asking, it's already a bad sign. If you meet somebody and they start asking you for money or asking you whatever it is, I don't know what it might be, but whatever it is, it's not a good sign. You don't meet somebody and they start asking you for stuff off the bat. And the funny thing is some women, they do that. And like I said, it usually stems from insecurity and desperation and neediness. Or codependency. Codependency, a big one. A codependent means that you do things for someone, trying to make them feel obligated to you, and you actually need them, but you keep them by doing stuff for them. You're always doing, you're always giving. And so that person becomes dependent on you, but you actually need them, if that makes sense. I hope it does. So you need to protect yourself from abuse and self-deception. If you can't help, signpost somebody who can. Don't be over-compassionate to one person. You can serve several people with less emotional drainage. It's like when people ask me, people in the past have asked me for immigration advice, and I refer them to the Office of Immigration and Service Commissioner, specialists there, because I can't. I might know a little bit about immigration, but I'm not an expert. I'm not an authority. And so, when people ask you information, if you don't have it, you can say, hold on a minute. I'll look up Google and see if I can find something. And then you can let them know, look, this isn't a recommendation. This is, I can't guarantee, I can't vouch for them, but you might want to find, either look up yourself, go to Citizens Advice Bureau or whatever. But you signpost them, you're still helping. So if you do too much for someone, you become resentful. And if someone asks too much of you, you become resentful. So you have to ask yourself when you're going out there, are you ready to give and receive love? Will you be linking a new relationship with an old one? Will you turn your back on love out of fear? A lot of people do that. When it starts getting too nice and too good, they start panicking and they sabotage it. Feels too good, it's not going to last. So they do something silly to sabotage it. And how do you react to good treatment? Some people can't even take the good treatment because they're not ready to receive love. They can't, somebody wants to do something for them. Somebody offers something to them. They can't take it. So I hope that is useful for you. Sorry to go on for so long, but you know me. When I get into something, I can't get out of it. That's all for now. Bye-bye.